Updated
Turkish
Spain
Airlines
entry
load
rules.
factor over
All
80%
travel
in May.
restrictions scrapped for tourists, and the EU
Yesterday,
tourists have been returning to
Turkish
Seville,
Airlines
one of
load
Spain's
factor
most
over
beautiful
80% in
cities.
May.
Tourists have been returning
Overcoming
to
the
Seville,
negative effects
one of
of
Spain's
pandemic
most
on the
beautiful
global aviation
cities.
sector faster
Copyright
than any
Canva
other
by Lottie
airline.
Lim and Hannah
Turkish
Brown.
Airlines enjoys
Updated
its successful
June
days on
13,
the skies once
2022.
again,
Spain no longer has any
leaving behind the days
COVID-19
where
entry
zero
requirements for
passengers were
anyone
transported
arriving
at
into the
various
country
routes
from
with
the
entire
EU or
sector at
Schengen
halt.
area.
Flag carrier reached
Holidaymakers from the
80% load
UK
factor,
and other countries
carrying
outside the
6.3
EU or
million
Schengen
passengers during
area
May
need to show
2022.
proof of full vaccination
Releasing
or
its
proof of
passenger and
recovery
cargo
or a
traffic
negative
results of
antigen
May,
test result
Flag carrier
taken in the
managed to
24
increase
hours
its seat
before
capacity
departure
offered
or
to
a negative
passengers by
PCR test
12.6%
taken in the
compared to
72
same
hours
period
before
of
departure.
2019 due to the
Health
increasing
screening is
demand
in place
despite
at all
several
Spanish
countries still
airports and
continuing
ports to
travel
ensure
restrictions.
passengers comply with these rules.
Commenting on the May
With
numbers
its
of the
sunny
company,
beaches,
Turkish
rich
Airlines
architectural
general manager
heritage and
Bilal
delicious
Essi,
food,
although our
there are
sector
plenty
was
of
almost
reasons
brought
why
to
the
halt during
Mediterranean
pandemic,
nation was the
we as
world's
Turkish
second most
Airlines
visited
never
country
stopped.
pre-pandemic.
We worked
And,
towards today
of
as we knew
course,
we would
the
be returning
long-running
to our
favorite
route
of
to
British
success even stronger.
holidaymakers. The most
May
unique Spanish
2022 numbers
festivals,
show that our goals
hyperlocal
and
parties
dreams
worth
are starting to
traveling for.
materialize.
Where can I
We
travel in
believe we will
Europe?
be meeting
An
again
updated
above the
list of
clouds with the
COVID entry rules
6.3
for every
million
European
passengers who
country.
chose the privileged
Unlike a
travel
number of other
experience of Turkish
European
Airlines
nations,
during May and
Spain has
extend our
not
thanks
scrapped
for
its
choosing
travel
us.
restrictions
Now
entirely.
is the time to talk
As the
about
world
good things
adjusts to
again.
international travel and the
Turkish
continuing age of
Airlines was successful not
COVID-19,
just
the
with
Spanish
passenger
tourism sector
transportation
is
but also
expected
with
to
steps
reach
taken
nearly
in air cargo
90% of its
sector.
2019
The
size.
volume of cargo and
So if
mail
you're one
carried
of the
during
many
May
tourists
increased
eager
by
to book a 2022
11.3%
trip to
compared to the
Spain,
same
here's
period
what
of
you need to know.
2019, reaching
What are the latest entry
144,000
requirements for
tons.
Spain?
According
Joan
to May
Mateu/AP
2022
a couple
traffic
posed for a
results,
picture in front of Gaudi Sagrada
advertisement,
Familia Basilica in
carrying a total
Barcelona.
of 6.3
Joan
million
Mateu/AP
passengers,
tourists from
Turkish
within the
Airlines
EU or
domestic load
Schengen area
factor
no
is
longer need to show any
83.7% and
COVID-19
international
documents in
load
order to
factor
enter
is
the country.
79.5%.
Visitors from outside the EU,
Cargo
however,
and mail
still
volume
need to
increased
show
by
proof of
11.3%
vaccination, a
compared to
recovery
same
certificate
period
or
of
a negative
2019
test
and
through the
reached
EU digital COVID
144,000
certificate,
tons.
UDC, or another valid
According to the
document.
January to May
If you don't have a UDC
2022 traffic
certificate
results,
or another EU
total
equivalent, you
passengers
must fill in
carried during
Spain's health
January to May
control form with
period was
these
at 24
details,
million.
receiving a QR code to get
During
through the
January to
airports.
May, total
Either a
load factor was
PCR
at
or rapid antigen test,
73.5%.
taken within 72
International
or
load
48
factor was
hours
at
before arrival,
72.5 while
respectively,
domestic load
are
factor was
accepted.
at 82.8%.
Spain's most unexplored city is a
Total available
tourist-free,
seat
hidden
kilometer
gem to
during
visit in
January to May became
2022.
71.8
Barcelona
billion
is
during
banning
2022
smoking on
while
all
it was
its beaches, and the
72.7
rest of
billion
Spain
during the
could
same
follow.
period of
What
2019.
counts as fully vaccinated in Spain?
Cargo/mail carried during
In order to be
January to May
considered fully
increased by
vaccinated by the Spanish
13.4%
government,
compared
all
to same
travelers
period of
must have received their
2019 and
second
reached
jab
to
at least 14 days prior to
673,000
their
tons.
trip. You must be vaccinated with
Number
a
of
complete
aircraft in
course
the
of a
fleet
vaccine
became
approved by the
376 at
WHO
the
or
end of
EMA.
May.
And, in line with other EU countries, Spain has set an expiration date of 270 days on vaccine passports. This means booster jabs will be required if your second jab was more than 9 months ago. But there is no requirement for 14 days to have passed since getting any further booster jabs and entering Spain, and there is currently no expiration date for booster jabs. What are Spain's vaccine and COVID test rules for UK travelers? By Lottie Lim and Hannah Brown, updated, June 13, 2022. Spain no longer has any COVID-19 entry requirements for anyone arriving into the country from the EU or Schengen area. Holidaymakers from the UK, and other countries outside the EU or Schengen area, need to show proof of full vaccination, or proof of recovery, or a negative antigen test result, taken in the 24 hours before departure, or a negative PCR test, taken in the 72 hours before departure. Health screening is in place at all Spanish airports and ports to ensure passengers comply with these rules. With its sunny beaches, rich architectural heritage and delicious food, there are plenty of reasons why the Mediterranean nation was the world's second most visited country pre-pandemic. And, of course, the long-running favorite of British holidaymakers. The most unique Spanish festivals, hyperlocal parties worth traveling for. Where can I travel in Europe? An updated list of COVID entry rules for every European country. Unlike a number of other European nations, Spain has not scrapped its travel restrictions entirely. As the world adjusts to international travel and the continuing age of COVID-19, the Spanish tourism sector is expected to reach nearly 90% of its 2019 size. So if you're one of the many tourists eager to book a 2022 trip to Spain, here's what you need to know. What are the latest entry requirements for Spain? Joan Mateu/AP a couple pose for a picture in front of Gaudi Sagrada Familia Basilica in Barcelona. Joan Mateu/AP tourists from within the EU or Schengen area no longer need to show any COVID-19 documents in order to enter the country. Visitors from outside the EU, however, still need to show proof of vaccination, a recovery certificate or a negative test through the EU Digital COVID Certificate, UDC, or another valid document. If you don't have a UDC certificate, or another EU equivalent, you must fill in Spain's health control form with these details, receiving a QR code to get through the airports. Either a PCR or rapid antigen test, taken within 72 or 48 hours before arrival, respectively, are accepted. Spain's most unexplored city is a tourist-free, hidden gem to visit in 2022. Barcelona is banning smoking on all its beaches, and the rest of Spain could follow. What counts as fully vaccinated in Spain? In order to be considered fully vaccinated by the Spanish government, all travelers must have received their second jab at least 14 days prior to their trip. You must be vaccinated with a complete course of a vaccine approved by the WHO or EMA. And, in line with other EU countries, Spain has set an expiration date of 270 days on vaccine passports. This means booster jabs will be required if your second jab was more than 9 months ago. But there is no requirement for 14 days to have passed since getting any further booster jabs and entering Spain, and there is currently no expiration date for booster jabs. What are Spain's vaccine and COVID test rules for UK travelers? Joan Mateu/AP Summer 2021 saw Barcelona's beaches packed again, and the Spanish tourism sector is expected to regain even more of its pre-pandemic size this year. Joan Mateu/AP UK citizens who have not had a coronavirus vaccine are now free to travel to Spain, provided they can prove they don't have the virus. As with EU travelers, one of the 3 following certificates is required. A negative test certificate, either a PCR taken within 72 hours of departure, or an antigen test taken within 24 hours. A vaccination certificate. Certificate of recovery at least 11 days after testing positive, valid for 6 months. The Spanish authorities will accept the NHS COVID pass as proof of vaccination, either digitally or printed out. Tests are not required from double-jabbed Brits, but the UK Foreign Office notes that all travellers may be subject to additional checks at the point of entry. Spain's border health controls page suggests that if, for example, an airport temperature check raises concerns, tourists could be contacted and required to take a PCR test at any point up to 48 hours after arrival. Unvaccinated Brits still need to fill out the health control form, unless recently recovered. These are the 12 EU countries where masks are still mandatory on flights. Italy, Spain, Portugal. What counts as fully vaccinated in these top European destinations? What are the rules for children and teenagers? Children under 12 years old do not need to show proof of vaccination or undergo any tests. This rule applies to the whole of Spain, including the Canary Islands and the Balearics. Those aged between age 12 to 17 no longer have to be fully vaccinated and can get into Spain with a negative PCR, or other test result taken within 72 hours before arrival. Antigen tests are not accepted. Alternatively, fully vaccinated British children aged 12 to 15 are able to prove their immunity with a NHS COVID pass letter for international travel. Without this proof, travelers aged 12 and over must complete the health control form within 48 hours before traveling to Spain. Spain's new law will allow visitors to live and work there for up to 3 years. Are masks required in Spain? Manu Fernandez/AP masks are no longer required in indoor settings. Manu Fernandez/AP After 700 days, Spain finally dropped its indoor mask-wearing rule on 20th of April. By royal decree, masks are no longer mandatory in the vast majority of settings, from bars and cafes to museums and cinemas. Public transport is one key exception, however, as face coverings are still required on airplanes, buses, trains, metros, taxis, as well as ferries if a 1.5-meter distance can't be maintained indoors. It follows the scrapping of Spain's strict outdoor mask-wearing rule earlier this year. Domestic rules can vary from region to region, however, so it's important to check the exact requirements for where you're headed. The Spanish Tourist Board's Travel Safe website has more guidance on this, with a breakdown of rules for each of Spain's 17 autonomous regions on its interactive map. Travel insurance in 2022. Everything you need to know and how to choose the best policy. It's important to get the right travel insurance before you set off on holiday. It's important to get the right travel insurance before you set off on holiday. Copyright Martin, DM, Canva by Katie Dartford and Jessica Vincent and Charlotte Elton. Updated, June 13, 2022. As travel picks up across the globe, sorting out insurance is a must for any would-be jet-setters. The pandemic has made travelers more aware of the need to take out cover, according to a European Travel Commission survey published today. Some interviewees have become risk-averse regarding the impact of unforeseen or sudden changes prior to and during their holiday and would like to mitigate a potential financial loss with travel insurance, the report reads. But with so many different providers to choose from, it can be hard to know where to start. Here we answer the most common questions about choosing travel insurance in 2022. From COVID-19 cover to finding specialist providers for no-go destinations to how to make a claim. Will insurers demand vaccine passports or vaccine certification? Many countries have dropped vaccination requirements for incoming visitors, though some, such as the United States, Australia, Brazil, and Canada, still bar entry for non-vaccinated visitors. However, not all travel insurers will cover COVID-related claims made by unvaccinated travelers. For example, UK insurer StaySure will not reimburse non-inoculated travelers for COVID-19 related emergency care. If you declined any doses of the vaccination through personal preference, or haven't been able to have a dose you've been offered, you won't be covered for any COVID-related claims, a statement on their website reads. Needing a vaccination before travel is not a new concept. Many places already require vaccination against diseases such as typhoid before you can travel, and this has an impact on your health cover. People with official vaccine exemptions will be able to get cover. Flight cancelled or choosing not to fly in bad weather? Here's what to do next. Do Brits get free healthcare in Europe? Economic rules explained in full. Do travel insurance companies cover pandemics? After the WHO announced that the coronavirus was a global pandemic on 11th of March, many travel insurance companies said they wouldn't cover COVID-19 related claims. Since then, however, nearly every insurer has developed new cover specifically for COVID-19. These are not uniform. Nearly all providers will cover medical expenses for COVID-19 related incidents while on holiday, provided that the destination isn't on non-essential travel advisories before departure. Insurance price comparison website Compare the Market said that all the travel insurance policies listed on their website are likely to cover claims related to COVID-19 for emergency medical and repatriation costs. However, be aware that not all policies on Compare the Market cover non-medical issues, such as flight or hotel cancellations. See below for more information. Likewise, not all policies cover the cost of isolation for close contacts. Read the small print to see whether you are getting basic or comprehensive cover. My country advises against travel to my chosen holiday destination. Will I be able to get travel insurance? It's difficult, but not impossible. If you plan to travel to a destination that your country's government recommends not visiting, most insurance companies won't cover you. However, there are a handful of specialist providers that are offering insurance to no-go destinations during COVID-19, such as Battleface and Wild Frontiers. Ready for the trip of a lifetime? Here are the 8 best travel experiences of 2022. UK travel insurance, what you will and won't be covered for during COVID-19. What if my government advises against travel to my destination after I've arrived? Will my insurance policy become invalid? If the government advises against traveling to a destination while you're on holiday, and you bought the insurance before departing, your policy should still stand. Check with your provider before taking out the insurance and only go for a company that is prepared to offer cover in this situation.